Well, your fandom's really going to be tested this weekend from a financial standpoint because the prices are astronomical. It really speaks to the popularity of the NFL. Jaguars, Chiefs, the get-in price right now, $158. That means basically standing room only or the worst seat in the house, $158. The average price of a ticket for this game at Arrowhead, $484, which kind of explains why Superfan was robbing banks to be able to go watch the Kansas City Chiefs play. $484 average price. So Troy, do the math. 80,000 tickets times 484. If everybody sold their ticket on the secondary market today, how much money would that be? $32 million? Thank you. All right. Now,
38.
Here's the deal. I mean, that's I'm a math savant. That's part of my problem.
Incredible.
All right, here's the deal.
Okay.
Jaguars, Chiefs, 484 average price. They going to get a good game?
Yeah, I think they'll get a great game. I think there's a couple of things. I mean, I think, one, remember, Doug Peterson not only played for Andy Reid, he coached for Andy Reid. Yep. That's his roots. They know each other. And I will say this about Jacksonville. They're a physical football team, man. They can slow this game down. Like they can make this game. They can shrink this game. They can do that. I think you'll get a good game.
I think it's going to be a good game for those of you that dropped 484 because I think the Chiefs are going to blow them out. And there's two different things here, right? There's a good game for all of us that have no rooting interest in the outcome,
sure,
or aren't gambling on it, or aren't Chiefs or Jaguar fans. And I know it's a bad cliche, but as a fan, I want to see a good game. 40-3 don't do it for me. I want 35-31, 24-20, game on the line. So I think, how you define good game is indicative of your rooting interest. Like if you're a Chief fan and you drop $500 on a ticket and you win 40-3, you got your money's worth.
Yeah, you got a great game. That's a great game for you. Yeah, 100%.
Now, do you consider the bye week the same as a bye week in the regular season? And the reason I ask you that question is Andy Reid famously is the best coach in the history of football off of a bye week. I know you view them a little differently, but do you put anything into that?
Yeah, I put a ton into it, not only from a preparation standpoint, how you get your team ready to go, but your team gets that week to recuperate, to rest. You get to address injuries that have been kind of plaguing you throughout the season. So, obviously he's got a good rhythm, a good system, a good, keeping your football team on task and on schedule. He's done that better than anybody else. And then you get the added benefit of health. That's a big advantage.
Yeah, I tell you this, there were no stories this week that Patrick Mahomes was in Cabo with Jessica Simpson, or that I don't know, or that half the squad was on a boat in Florida with Timberlands on and no shirts, like the New York Giants did.
That was not a good pick. That was not a good pick.
He's got his guys; they get it. They're professionals.
Yeah, you're right.
There's plenty of time to go to Cabo. There's plenty of time to take your shirt off and walk around in Timberlands and jeans. I do it all the time after a big win. All right, number 2. The Cincinnati Bengals, Orchard Park, against the Buffalo Bills. The get-in price, $179. Sounds affordable, actually. Worst seat in the house, $179. The average ticket price, though, $616. You're talking about a blue-collar town.
Right.
As you know, Buffalo. There's not a lot of big business in Buffalo where guys are making $200,000-$300,000. But that's fandom right there. Ain't going to be an empty seat in that house. I think absolutely they get a competitive game.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any question. That's going to be a competitive game. Plus, you have, you're replaying the game that they got postponed Monday night, rightfully so.
Right.
There's a lot of emotion going on there. The Bills fans they're unbelievable.
You bring DeMar Hamlin out for this game, or do you show some sensitivity to Cincinnati and not bring him out?
No, I think he's part of your team, man. If he's able to be there, you want him there. That's part of what makes you. And I think the Cincinnati players would be excited that he's there, that he's okay. I don't look at that as being disrespectful or anything of that nature. But these fans are amazing. It's one of the coolest stadiums to actually drive into as an opposing player, because you're literally driving into a neighborhood where people are parking, they're parking.
Well, I'll walk you through it.
on the front lawn, right?
There's that, and then Buffalo does something that I think they do in Arrowhead. It's the only other place that I'm aware that they do it. The Friday night before a game, they open up the parking lots for Winnebagos and RVs. And Bills fans, and they're not even coming from that far away, they drive into the parking lot and they live there for the weekend. It is one of the coolest experiences of my life, being in a parking lot 48 hours before a game and not feeling like I'm bored, I want to go home. These people have football in their DNA, and it's very, very real. Now, here's the problem.
Pretty cool.
There is concern in Buffalo, rightfully so, that Josh Allen is being a little too cutesy-pootsy with the football and taking too many chances. And he was a great playoff quarterback prior to this year in your touchdown-to-interception ratio, 14-1. You saw what happened last week. Took some chances, fumbles, interceptions, and gave the Dolphins a chance to go back and actually win that game.
Yeah.
What's the concern level against probably an underrated defense in the Cincinnati Bengals that Josh Allen might be a problem?
Well, I think they've like, I understand the kind of Bruce Arians aspect of, no risk it, no biscuit. Let's push the ball down the field. We got a big arm quarterback. But I think they have taken that offense that was more of, under Brian Dable, spread, get the ball out quickly, the underneath routes to your slot receiver in Beasley, to Diggs, do all that, to where it's let's push the ball more than we should. And I think they've taken more chances here, especially
is that
this year.
Is that Josh Allen just not having Dable in his ear anymore? Or is that the offense that you think they're trying to run?
I think it's a philosophy of let's take a few more shots. Let's take a few. And again, I understand shots, but I understand calculated shots versus shots just to take shots. And they've got so much talent that I believe they look at it and go, well, we can overcome it. And they've been able to. But here's what happens playoff-wise. You don't overcome those things when you get against good teams that can take advantage of that.
And Joe Burrow's that guy.
And they almost lost a game to a Miami Dolphins team that they were up on 17-0 because they got careless with the football.
Right.
And that's not a team that has the same, and they've got great weapons, but because of the quarterback situation, that's not a team that should have been able to do that to the Buffalo Bills. So if you do that against Cincinnati, you'll get beat.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Cincinnati Bengal offensive line might be missing 3 of their 5 starters. That is a major storyline as we move closer to game time. I know that there'll be some guys talking today, so tomorrow on the show, we'll see what they say about the health of the offensive line, which brings us to Saturday night's game, of course, the one I'm all pumped up for. New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles. Get this, ready? The get-in price, $360. The average price of a ticket in Philadelphia is $1,106. That is the average price. Meaning, again, Troy, what's the math? 80,000 times 1106. That's right, $81 million in ticket sales if everybody sold on the secondary market. Again, I would rather stay at home, take that $1,000, buy a 55-inch Samsung Smart TV.
2 of them.
Right? Get a Traeger smoker and grill, have a bunch of buddies over, cater the whole thing, and if my team wins, great. If my team loses, boo-hoo, it sucks. I've got a TV for the rest of my life.
Yep.
That's how I'd spend my money.
Love it.
But I respect fandom. I respect savings. I respect people that work their asses off so they can have this experience of a lifetime, which is their team winning a playoff game. The problem in Philly is that they're probably not going to win, right, Mark?
No.
Was that what you told me in your pre-show meeting?
No, I did not tell you that. I could have
sworn you told me that.
$1,100. And, the likelihood is not only you're paying $1,100, but then you're bringing your buddy with you, right?
That's $2,200.
That's $2,200.
Yeah, but he's got to pay his own way.
Right, and then the odds are you're going to get in a fight, and you may get your ass kicked. Like, you're going to pay $200 and get your ass kicked.
And Schlereth, wasn't you just a minute ago that said they had the worst coach in the entire playoffs?
No, that was him.
Yeah,
That was him.
It's like, hey, I'm going to spend $1,000 to maybe get in a fight and pay an extra $40 to park. Anyhow, listen, they're the number 1 seed. With that, obviously, heavy's the head that wears the crown. The Giants are a different team coming into this game than they were a month plus ago when they got embarrassed at home, 44 for whatever it was. They lost, by 3 touchdowns. They ran for 200 yards. The Eagles did. Jalen Hurts had a big game. The Giants are healthier on defense, and the Eagles aren't as healthy. I actually think this is going to be a very competitive game.
I think it's going to be a competitive game as well, and I actually think both coaching staffs have done an incredible job with their football teams. But there is something about the Giants right now, the way they're operating with their quarterback, the believability and the chip, just the enormous chip they have on their shoulder because they have so many guys on this, like Jalen Smith was on his couch in October. Is their starting middle linebacker, right? Another linebacker that was on Detroit's squad like in week 17. They've got corners and I mean,
heck, their best wide receiver was on the Bills practice squad
November
through
1st.
week 9.
Yeah, November 1st.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've got this incredible chip on their shoulder that, hey, everybody says, and rightfully so, that we've got the worst roster in the playoffs. And guess what? Who cares? Because we're playing great team football.
Yeah, I tell you, on the Eagles side, obviously, Jalen Hurts' shoulder is the story. It's the second story. It's the tertiary story. But Lane Johnson's a pretty big story there. Stud right tackle, Hall of Fame right tackle. There's some debate now. Was it a lower abdomen problem? Did he have a hernia? Mm-hmm. Is it a groin, pull, strain, tear? Regardless, it's all within about 6 to 8 inch span of your body. What I was hearing from medical experts is that it's one thing to block with a busted up lower abdomen or groin or hernia, but as soon as he's got to move and take on a blitzer, that's where that groin's going to be a problem. But they are saying it looks like he's going to play.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, it's always.
Did you ever experience that or no?
No, not the midsection, and it's so much. It's one of those things we used to call it a button. Like anytime you get a button,
what does that explain to the audience?
A button to me is anytime you have an injury, that's a button, and that button's going to get pushed.
Got it.
Right, and when you have something that goes on, you don't realize how much you use that aspect of your body, and everything you do, you take sets, you hunker down, you got to do that. It's all you're all from your hips to here. Your core is what actually does all that work.
Right.
And when that's injured,
it's compromised.
Man, and it is really hard to play well that way.
I have a button if you guys don't mind pushing it.
Yeah.
Really? Where is it, Craig?
Maybe off air. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe in the post-show meeting, we can all push each other's buttons. I go first. All right. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.